Hey everyone, so today's video is the update for my little chopping block series that I recently started. So I believe this is going to go up almost a month after I filmed the sort of intro to this video. So basically in the first part of this chopping block, I chose products that I didn't really know how I felt about, and I potentially wanted to declutter them, but I just wanted to use them a little bit more to make sure that I actually wanted to declutter them instead of just like decluttering things to declutter them. So I tried out all of these products and I have definitely made up my choice by now. So today basically I'm just going to be telling you whether I chose to declutter or keep the product, and I do have a good amount of products here, and I will probably continue to do this little series just as I find products that I may want to declutter but I need to get a little bit more use out of. So let me know if you guys like this type of video and like this little series, and I will definitely continue to do them for you guys. But let's just go ahead and get into this little update. So some of these definitely were pretty difficult to decide, and I was kind of going back and forth on a few of them. But the first one that was pretty easy is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Rose Gold. And the reason I put this in here is because I had never really used it before, but by the look of it, it just looks a little bit deep for my skin tone. So that was my concern with this, and I tried it out a couple of times and it sort of looked okay, but you could still kind of see the shadow on the tops of my cheekbones. So I just figured there's other highlighters that work better for me in my collection. Like this would probably work only during the summer for me, or I can make it work if I mix it in with a lighter highlighter. But I know I'm just not going to go through the effort of actually using it that way. So I also have a bunch of other Becca highlighters and enough highlighters in my collection. And I know that I'm just not going to reach for this one since it is just a little bit too dark for me. So I will be decluttering this. And then the other highlighter that I put in here is the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, and this is in the shade 10 Be My Highlight. I believe it's their original shade, but they did come out with a few more shades for deeper skin tones. So this I pretty much wanted to compare to my Laura Mercier Matte Baked Radiance, whatever that highlight is called. And this is a really close dupe to that Laura Mercier highlight, and you pretty much can't tell a difference when you put it on your cheeks. So I really just wanted to test it out a little bit more and compare it to that highlight, and I decided that this is just too similar to the Laura Mercier that I already have in my collection, and I know I'm not going to be able to use up both of them. Obviously highlighters take so long to go through, so I figured I would just declutter this and let someone else get some good use out of it, because I know I'm not going to reach for it enough, especially because I have that Laura Mercier dupe in my collection. The next product is a blush from Clinique. This is in the shade Melon Pop, and these blushes are really beautiful. I do have 3 others in my collection. So this one is just very light, and I do have a light skin tone obviously, but I feel like this would be better for someone that's like really pale, like even more pale than I am. It just doesn't show up enough on my cheeks. I feel like I have to build it up so much that it's almost not even worth it. I just rather reach for another blush. So it does look pretty, especially if you like that more subtle blush effect, but I like a more intense blush, and I know I'm just not going to reach for this, especially because I already have 3 of these other Clinique blushes in different shades, and also Clinique is not cruelty free, so that kind of makes me want to declutter it even more. But I know this is one I just won't reach for as often as some of my other blushes, so I am going to be decluttering this one as well. Now the next couple products are foundations, and these were probably the most difficult decision to make. So first off, we have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation, and okay, this isn't terrible, but it just doesn't look right on my skin, and I can't get it to sit well on my skin. I feel like it just sticks to my dry patches, and it just doesn't look nice, and I feel like throughout the day it starts to look even worse and worse. Like usually throughout the day a foundation will look better, but this is kind of the opposite, and I just can't get it to look nice on my skin. While I don't hate it and it's not absolutely terrible, I know there are other foundations in my collection that I just prefer to wear over this, and I don't want to force myself to use this when I know I don't like it as much as some of the other foundations in my collection, and it just doesn't look very nice on my skin, so I will be decluttering this one. And then the other foundation is this Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation, and again, Wet n Wild is not cruelty free, so I was already leaning towards the declutter side, and this isn't a terrible foundation at all. I actually prefer this one probably over the Flower Beauty one. It does still look nice on my skin, but this is also a more full coverage foundation, and right now I am preferring more light coverage foundations, and I know I'm just not going to reach for this. I also have other more full coverage foundations in my collection that I would prefer to reach for over this. And I know I'm just not going to get through all of the foundations in my collection. So I am going to declutter this just because I feel like I have to get rid of some of the foundations in my collection because I know I'm not going to be able to go through all of them. And these two that I am going to declutter are definitely my least favorite in my collection. So now that I have decluttered these two foundations, I know that I really, really love all of the other foundations in my collection, so I'm really happy to declutter them because that means I can just get more good use out of the other foundations in my collection that I prefer. I did also choose an eyeshadow palette. So this is the ColourPop Give It To Me Straight palette, and this was just sitting in my collection, pretty much had never been used, and it is obviously just a really pretty neutral everyday palette, and I do like this palette and I enjoy it. It looks nice on the eyes, and I do like the ColourPop formula. I just have so many neutral eyeshadow palettes and so many eyeshadow palettes in general in my collection, so I just never reach for this, and I know I can probably dupe every single shade in here with other palettes or shades in my collection, so I feel like this is just not necessary, and I know I'm not going to reach for it enough, so I'd rather give it to someone else who is actually going to get good use out of it. So this one I am also going to declutter. Now we have a few lip products. So the first one is the Ofra Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Verona, and this is obviously in their old packaging. I did get this in a BoxyCharm probably in like 2018, and I don't think I've ever really used this on my lips, like maybe once or twice, but I did obviously test it out, and it's just a little bit dark than I would go for, and I just am not going to get enough use out of this, and I don't really wear these like deep brown tones on my lips, and I feel like it looks even darker on the lips than it does in the tube. And I have another shade almost exactly like this, but just a little bit lighter already in my collection that I feel like I would get more use out of. So again, this one I am also going to declutter. And then another lip product is from Wet n Wild. This is the Mega Last Liquid Catsuit High Shine Lipstick. So this is basically just like a pigmented lip gloss, and it is in the shade Chic Got Real. Also, again, Wet n Wild is not cruelty free, so that kind of was already leaning me toward the declutter side, and I really had never worn this on the lips, so I just wanted to test it out a little bit, see if I like the color, and it is a more unique like pink color in my collection. I feel like I don't have many really pink lipsticks and like glosses in my collection, so I did try this out on my lips, and it's just too pink. It's almost like a Barbie pink shade. It looks different, I feel like, in the tube than it does on my lips, and I feel like it just doesn't look right on my skin tone, and it is pretty pigmented, so I tend to not reach for really pigmented glosses, and this shade just doesn't look right on my lips, so I know I won't get use out of this, and I am just going to declutter it. And then the last little lip product we have here is from Ofra. This is the shade Millie. It was their collaboration with Samantha March, and the first time when I got this product, I applied it just to my bare lips, and I could feel the grittiness of the glitter in here. This is basically just a clear gloss with a bunch of glitter in it. So when I applied this to my bare lips, I could feel the grittiness of the glitter, and it just didn't feel nice. So I was sort of disappointed by this gloss, but I had never worn it over like an actual lipstick or lip liner. So I did wear this over, I think I applied it with a lip liner once and just this over top, and then I applied it with a liquid lipstick and this over top. And when I wear something underneath it, I feel like you don't feel that gritty texture as much. So I do prefer to wear this obviously like over a lip liner or lipstick. and that way you don't feel the grittiness of the lip gloss as much. And depending on what you wear underneath it, obviously, like sometimes I don't feel it at all. And also when this wears off, it does sort of leave that glitter finish on the lips. Just with no gloss, it just looks like you have glitter on your lips, which I don't like. But also, I don't really have any glosses like this, just like a clear gloss with glitter in it. So I am going to keep this for now. Obviously, most of my glosses anyways, I do wear over lip liners or lipstick. So I feel like I could get some good use out of this, and it is pretty new to my collection. I got this only a few months ago, so I feel like I do want to wear it some more, and I do like the way it looks on my lips. I wore this in one of my previous videos, and I really loved the way it looked, so I am going to keep it for now. I do like the way it looks. I don't like the way it looks when it wears off, and I find that the grittiness texture obviously isn't a problem when I wear something underneath it, so I don't mind the feeling of it on my lips, and I am going to keep it for now. Basically, it's not my favorite gloss, but I do like the way it looks. So I will be keeping this one. And then the last product we have here is from Milani. It is the Prep and Brighten Rose Face Oil, and I have had this for a while, and I bought it, I think, when my skin was super dry and I just needed like something to go underneath my makeup because my makeup would look so like dry and cakey and gross. So I do sort of use this as a primer if I feel like my skin needs some more hydration, and I do really like it still, and I feel like it just gives that good amount of hydration to my face if I am feeling a little bit dry and dehydrated. So I do like to have this to apply underneath my makeup as a more sort of intense hydrating primer. So this one I am also going to be keeping. So that is it for this little update video, and I'm not surprised that I ended up decluttering most of these products. I kind of knew I was going to declutter the majority of them. I was kind of surprised that I ended up keeping the Ofra gloss actually, but I'm happy to keep that in my collection and continue to get use out of it. So let me know if you guys enjoy this little video series, and I will continue to do them for you. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I do post new videos about 3 times a week, so if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified every time I post. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.